everyone, welcome back to Michelle Reads and Vlogs, and today we are going to look at the 9 books that I'm hoping to read in February. Okay, so first up, I know that 9 books is ambitious, but these are the ones that, if I could prioritise, the ones that I want to read right away. So I might not get to all of them, and if I don't, that's okay. I'm not going to be too hard on myself, but the hope is to prioritise these in my TBR. The first book that we have is The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose. So this is the second book in the Molly the Maid series. So the first one is called The Guest, I think. No, it's not. That's completely wrong. The first one is called The Maid, and it features Molly, who is a maid, in this big fancy hotel. Molly is a little bit different. She is neurodivergent. We never get told exactly how she is neurodivergent, so what label she has. I guess she doesn't label it, but we know that she sees things in a very clear-cut and different way to most people. So we get to know her in book 1, we get to know some of the other characters in and around the hotel, and in book 1 what happens is a murder takes place in one of her rooms, and then she almost becomes like maid slash detective while she tries to figure out what has happened to this guest and who did it. So this one, The Mystery Guest, is following on with the same characters in the same kind of storyline, but I think it's a completely different story to book 1, so I don't think you've got to have read this. So I'm going to very quickly go through the synopsis. You can see it's the first book I want to pick up, which is why I've got a bookmark in the front page. So Molly the maid sees everything at the Regency Grand Hotel. She wears her head maid badge proudly for every shift, plumping pillows, sweeping up secrets, silently restoring rooms to a state of perfection. But the hotel's reputation is sullied when a guest, a famous mystery writer, drops very dead on the tea room floor. As suspicion swirls in the hotel corridors, it's clear there's grime lurking beneath the gilt. That's G-I-L-T. I think I've read this synopsis before on here. And Molly knows that she alone holds the key to the mystery, but unlocking it means thinking about the past, about an ominous old mansion and everything else she's tidied away in her memory. Because Molly knew the dead guest once upon a time, and she knows his secrets too. So we've got another kind of murder mystery. These aren't too heavy hitting. I found the first one really easy to read, really enjoyable. So I am looking forward to getting into this as a kind of light first read of the month. Then we have Wandering Souls by Cecile Pin. This was both the Waterstones book of the month for January, and it was the BookBarUK book club for January, which is why I have it, because I am a member of BookBar book club. So with this one, I keep forgetting the synopsis. I'm not very good at TBR videos. I'm much better at the wrap-ups where I can remember the synopsis because I've read it. So this one night not long after the last American troops leave Vietnam, siblings An, Tan and Min flee their village and embark on a perilous journey in hope of a new life. Separated from their parents and fearing the worst, they find themselves travelling alone in the world without a home to return to. After a twist of fate lands them in Thatcher's Britain, they must somehow build new lives there. Will the love they have for each other be enough to keep them together? So we've got an immigration story following the Vietnam War, which was what? Was that like this? It wasn't the 70s, was it? It was much... Oh, Thatcher's Britain, the 80s, yeah. So an 80s set book about immigration. We all know that I love books with immigration involved. If anyone doesn't know, I am the grandchild of an immigrant. My grandfather was an Italian immigrant. So I just find the reasons for why either people want to leave countries and they're drawn to a new country, or why they're pushed from their country, I just find it really interesting. And, you know, it's a part of my history and culture. So I love to read about other people's immigration stories. So yeah, sounds really good. We then have another book, which was a BookBar book club pick. I think this might have been the December book. So I always open these a bit late because I open them in my book unboxings, which is why I've read this synopsis before. But yeah, I really want to get into this. I keep hearing it and seeing people talk about it everywhere now that I've got it. So I do want to prioritise this. Also, I love that cover. It's so random, but I think it's absolutely brilliant. So Big Swiss, that's Greta's nickname for her. She is tall and she is from Switzerland, Well, that's how Greta imagines her. They haven't actually met in person, nor has Greta actually ever been to Switzerland. What Greta doesn't know is that she's about to bump into Big Swiss in the local dog park. A new and not entirely honest relationship is going to be born, a relationship that will transform both of their lives. So I think this girl, Greta, I think she works as like a receptionist or a PA in, is it like a therapist's office or a sexual therapist's office or something like that? And so she's transcribing notes of the people who go and see the therapist. This person, Big Swiss, I don't know her actual name, is someone who's been to see this therapist. So Greta knows all about this person because she types up all of their notes, and she's got to know them through typing up the notes from the person seeing the therapist. And yeah, now she's about to meet them in real life, and I've just heard such good things, so I am really excited to get into this one. We've then got This Other Eden by Paul Harding. This was a book that both won the Pulitzer Prize but also made it to the shortlist of the Booker Prize last year, and this one sounds so good. Again, it's a bit of not necessarily an immigration story, I don't think, but anyway, I'm going to read the synopsis so you can hear it. The profoundly moving story of an island refugee and a community of outcasts living on borrowed time. Set at the beginning of the 20th century and inspired by historical events, This Other Eden tells the story of Apple Island, an enclave off the coast of the United States where waves of castaways in flight from society and its judgment have landed and built a home. Benjamin Honey, American Bantu Igbo, born enslaved, freed or fled at 15, aspired orchidist, arrived on the island with his Irish wife Patience and discovered they could make a life together there. More than a century later, the Honey's descendants remain with an eccentric, diverse band of neighbours that comes the intrusion of civilization. Officials determined to cleanse the island, and a missionary school teacher selects one light-skinned boy to save. The rest will succumb to the authorities' institutions or cast themselves on the waters in a new Noah's Ark. So again, we've got this story of people who've made it to this island and they're just living their lives, but it's not what the country and society deems normal, so they're going to cleanse their civilization. And honestly, I'm so intrigued to see where this one goes, and I've heard such good things, and yeah, I can't wait to get into this one and to tell you all about it, hopefully at the end of the month. Next, we have The Future by Naomi Alderman. So these are always a bit of like a dystopian with Naomi Alderman. So this one is set in the future where there's loads of kind of new technologies at play, but we're looking at almost how that is affecting the world in a more negative way and the possible end of the world. So I am going to read you the synopsis. It's quite a long one. I think in the past I've just read the kind of beginning and the end maybe, but here we go. Let's go for it. When Martha Einkorn fled her father's isolated compound in Oregon, she never expected to find herself working for a powerful social media mogul hell-bent on controlling everything. Now she's surrounded by mega-rich companies designing private weather, predictive analysis, and covert weaponry. While spouting technological prophecy, Martha may have left a cult, but if the apocalyptic warnings in her father's Fox and Rabbit sermon, once a parable to her, are starting to come true, how much future is actually left? Across the world, in a mall in Singapore, Lei Tsane, an internet-famous survivalist, flees from an assassin. She's cornered, desperate, and worst of all, might die without ever knowing what's going on. Suddenly, a remarkable piece of software appears on her phone telling her exactly how to escape. Who made it? What is it really for? And if those behind it can save her from danger, what do they want from her, and what else do they know about the future? Martha and Zane's worlds are about to collide. An explosive chain of events is set in motion, while a few billionaires assured of their own safety lead the world to destruction. Martha's relentless drive and Zane's insatiable curiosity could lead to something beautiful or the cataclysmic end of civilization. By turns, thrilling, hilarious, tender, and always piercingly brilliant, the future unfolds at a breakneck speed, highlighting how power corrupts the few who have it and what it means to stand up to them. The future is coming. The future is here. I love a dystopian end of the world novel, and yeah, really want to get into this one. Okay, we are on the last of the physical books that I've got. I've then got 2 electronic and 1 audio that I want to get into. So the last physical is Let Us Descend by Jesmyn Ward. I know that Nicole has just started reading this. I saw it on her Goodreads yesterday. So yesterday or the day before, and I got really excited because I also want to read this month. So I'm excited to see what I think of it and also to compare it to what she thinks of it. So yeah, brilliant. This is meant to be amazing. I know it's a much bigger book over in America than it is here, but yeah, it's still meant to be brilliant. I can't wait. So the first weapon I ever held was my mother's hand. On a slave plantation in the Carolinas, Anis has survived in the light of her mother's resilience, comforted by stories of her African warrior grandmother. Everything she knows she learned from her mother: how to fight, how to be strong, how to grow up in a world shrouded in darkness. When she is sold south by the white enslaver who fathered her, Anis must venture onwards through the rich but unforgiving landscapes of the American South alone, from the rice fields of the Carolinas to the slave markets of New Orleans and into the fearsome heart of a Louisiana sugar plantation. Searching for relief in memories of her mother, she opens herself to a world beyond her own, teeming with spirits of earth, water, history, and myth. A reimagining of American slavery as beautifully rendered as it is heart-wrenching. Let Us Descend offers a magnificent portrait of the strength of the human spirit and its ability to emerge from darkness into light. This is a story of beauty, love, rebirth, and reclamation, a masterwork for the ages. It sounds like a masterpiece, never mean a masterwork. I mean, I suppose that's what that means, but yeah, I can't wait to get into that one. I think that's going to be brilliant. So for my 6 physical books, we've got a lot of, I know I read and I open a lot of fantasy and sci-fi books. I suppose the future is kind of like fantasy kind of leading, and the rest are kind of not. They're more kind of literary fiction. I guess The Mystery Guest is more kind of thriller, contemporary fiction. Yeah, and as is Big Swiss maybe, but a lot more kind of more fiction than fantasy than normal. So enter my audiobook and 2 ebooks that I want to listen to and read in the month of February. So the audiobook is the next book in the Martha Wells Murderbot series. So that is going to be the 3rd book, which is called Rogue Protocol. I have no idea what this is about. I just know that we are following our Murderbot. So Murderbot was a robot who is designed to take care of humans. So it's almost like a piece of machinery. So when humans go out into the, obviously it's set in space, it's sci-fi, so they go out and they do missions and look at things on different planets and different areas of the solar system. They will take one of these robots with them to protect them, like a bodyguard. And Murderbot was named Murderbot because of something that happened in the past where lots of people were killed, and they thought that it was all based on this robot, so it got the name Murderbot. I only learnt this yesterday, by the way, when I filmed my January wrap-up, so go and watch that if you haven't already. The first book is great. We see this robot, it's from their point of view, so we get to see their thoughts and feelings, and that actually they are a bit more human-like than they should be. And then in the second book, it went back into this history of the robot. They went back to where all of this murder took place to find out what really happened, because their memories of it aren't clear and they want to discover what they might have done. And I love these books because they're short. The audiobook is about 3 to 4 hours long, and I feel like they pack a lot in to this short book. It's almost like reading a short book where the author can get in more with less words, because they're playing with less words, they use them more meaningfully. And with these Murderbot books, I feel like we are reflecting the robot and the human-like qualities of the robot, and it's holding up a mirror to human life and human society and how humans live their lives, and I just think it's brilliant. I'm going to get into the 3rd book. I don't even know what the synopsis is. I'm probably going to go in blind, to be honest, and I will let you know at the end of the month what I think about it. Oh, a quick tea break before we get into the 2 ebooks. Okay, so I have 2 ebooks to read in February, and the reason for this is because when I joined NetGalley a few months ago, I've talked about this before, but I went a bit mad and I was like, do you know what, let's just try and request every book that we actually want to read, because when you're new on NetGalley, obviously you've got to build your profile up so that people can see that you're reliable, so that they will give you advanced copies of their books to read and to review. And so because I was new, I was like, well, I'm not going to get many of them anyway, if any, so let's just go for it. And I got okayed for quite a few. And with these two, I do need to really read them this month. So I need to crack on with them. I think so far I've been doing one a month. So I think I'm now going to try and, once I've read the ones that I've already been approved for, I'm going to try and get one request in to get one advanced copy a month, because I know that that's the pace that I'm reading it, and then that way I'm not gonna spoil my feedback ratio. But I need to get these two read to bring my feedback ratio up before I can start requesting more books. So the first one of these is a release. When is it out? I'm gonna look at my computer for a lot of this. So this is out on the 20th of February, and it is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsah Faizal. And I know that we are getting this in one of the book boxes, so I will be getting a physical copy of this book, which is very exciting because obviously I requested to read it. I do want to read this one. So this one is meant to be for fans of Six of Crows. I should have pointed out as well before that these are both fantasy books. So this is meant to be for fans of Six of Crows. On the streets of White Roaring, Arthie Casimir is a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by dark. I'm sold already. I am sold. It's a tea room by day and an illegal bloodhouse at night, catering to the vampires feared by society. Well, they've got to go somewhere, haven't they? But when her establishment is threatened, Arthie is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it, and she can't do the job alone. Calling upon a band of misfits, Arthie formulates a plan to infiltrate the dark and glittering vampire society known as the Athrium. I've not said that right. But now every member of her crew is on her side, and as the truth behind the heist unfolds, Arthie finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. Dark, action-packed and swoon-worthy, this is Hafsah Faizal's Better Than Ever. It sounds so good. I'm so excited for this one. So I am looking forward to getting into this. I don't know if it's YA or if it's adult. It doesn't say on here, but either way, I think it just sounds really fun. And again, I will let you know. I've got to read this month, so I will let you know at the end of the month what I think about it. So let's get on to the last book that I want to read in February. I am obsessed. I've realised I can't get through these videos and filming without taking these like little breaks and having drinks. I don't know how other people do it, or if they do, if they just sit and film the whole time. Okay, so the next one is An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson, and this is a dark academia, and I'm going to be honest, I have not read many, if any, books that are typically dark academia. I guess the closest that I've read is probably the one about the books and the author. What on earth was that called? So the closest I've read recently is A Study in Drowning, and I didn't think that was, well, it was quite dark, let's be honest, but the whole book wasn't that dark, kind of more just some creepy vibes within it. But I didn't think it was that academic, really. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading some more and deciding if it's really my thing or not. But as I said, I went on a bit of a rampage and, oh, sorry if you can hear the dogs, and just requested anything that I kind of like the look at, and this stuck out. So I will be reading this over the next couple of weeks. So, Sumptuous and Addictive. I don't know if that's because someone's at the door or the neighbour's dog's out, but I've got to keep going, so let's keep reading, just ignore the dog. An Education, she's fine, by the way, she's not on her own, there is somebody else here. So, Sumptuous and Addictive, An Education in Malice is a dark academia, tale of blood, secrets and insatiable hunger, from the Sunday Times bestseller author S.T. Gibson, author of A Cult Hit of A Dowry of Blood. Deep in the forgotten hills of Massachusetts stands St. Perpetua's College, Isolated and ancient, it is not a place for timid girls. Here, secrets are currency, ambition is lifeblood, and strange ceremonies welcome students into the fold. On her first day of class, Laura Sheridan is thrust into an intense academic rivalry with the beautiful and enigmatic Carmilla. Together they are drawn into the confidence of their demanding poetry professor, de La Fontaine, who holds her own dark obsession with Carmilla. But as their rivalry blossoms into something far more delicious, Laura must confront her own strange hungers. Tangled in a sinister game of politics, bloodthirsty professors, and dark magic, Laura and Carmilla must decide how much they are willing to sacrifice in their ruthless pursuit of knowledge. So this sounds like it is full-on dark academia. So if this is your thing, maybe have a look at this one. As I said, I've got to read it in the next couple of weeks. It is out on February 15th, and I'm sure that they wanted the reviews out in the 2 weeks kind of before this. So this is from now. It's the 3rd today as I'm filming this. So I need to read this and write a review and get it up. So exciting. I'm very, very motivated for my reading this month. There are so many good books. As I said, I have been carrying around The Mystery Guest for a couple of days. I have not started it yet, so it is like a fresh start to reading. I've not read anything since the end of January. Yes, so I've got no carryover books, 9 books to choose from. In an ideal world, I would read them all, but we know that 9 books is a lot. And it is a short month. It's 28 days. It's the 3rd today. That's 25 days. So just over 3 weeks. It's like 3 books a week. That's a lot, even for me. Obviously, I do work and stuff, so. Anyway, let's leave it there for today. I am going to pop links to all the books down in the description. So as usual, if you want to check them out, links are there. They are affiliates. So if you decide to purchase through them, I get a small commission. It helps me in the channel out. You don't pay any extra. Honestly, this is just normal for my dogs. They are absolutely fine. You can hear that in the background. They are fine. They're being looked after. They probably want a biscuit or something. So, as normal, if you like the video, please give it a like. It really helps me in the channel out. Let me know what you think about any of these books. Have you read any of them? Let's chat in the comments. And what's the last one? Subscribe. I'm not very good at this bit. Subscribe if you've not done so already. Up to 70% of viewers to my channel now are not subscribed, which is mad, absolutely mad. So if you want to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button. I hope you are all well. Have a good rest of your day, wherever you are, whatever you're up to, and I will see you all next time. Bye.